What's up, everybody? It's your girl Kiwana. I am back with BMF Season 4, Episode 4, Power Trippin. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video that I drop. Make sure you are liking the videos to stay in the algorithm of things. Don't forget, tonight, 7:30, 8:30 Eastern, I will be on the Black Girls Den podcast talking about divorced sisters and family or fiance. So y'all check it out, 7:30, 8:30 Eastern. Yes. So, let's just jump right on in, y'all. So we get a flashback to Mexico. Loco see the police come in. Loco and Meech, they roughing up the police, have them chained up, what is it? Cuffed to the little pole or whatever, and they start torturing them, like shooting at their little feet or powing at their feet or whatever. So they took their Jeep and left. Okay. So Purdy is in Meech's studio. Purdy wants to rap, but Trail ain't trying to let her rap. Trail wants her to be an R&B singer, and Trail ain't. Okay. Meech let her know we can do big things for you and for her and her career, and she said, I have to believe it. I have to see it to believe it. So in the next scene, Estelle is Lulu's cousin. How you doing in this whole pastoral role, okay? So they went to talk about, she was like, I'm always preaching to people about, talking to people about their money issues, and I have money issues, like, I don't know, like, it's a lot. And so she was like, cousin Estelle had that mink on, and she was like, oh, you like that meat she bought me? Y'all, sorry. And so she was like, well, you need to pawn it. She was like, no, I won't pawn it. Well, pawn that ring that Raw Dog purchased for you. Y'all ain't married no more. I was like, so she was like, all right, and go get on welfare. Child. Anyway, Estelle says, keep the mink, sell a ring. So in the next scene, B Mickey met up with Terry. He wants B Mickey and Hoop to keep an eye on somebody. I was thinking it was somebody who worked for him, but it ended up being Markeisha stink ass. Anyway, Duffy is wanted for murder in ATL. So Terry goes over to LaWanda's house. They talk. She said she quit her job at the salon. She said, because I'm tired of hearing everybody else's problems. Their problems become my problems. She was like, I didn't want to hear that because it was a lot. So her uncle ended up pulling some strings so she can work over at City Hall. So she got a nice little city job. All right, LaWanda. So Terry says to LaWanda, you the only person that ever had my back. LaWanda looked at him, baby, said, if you ever think you gonna get this cootie again, you got another thing coming. You better go get it from your, okay? So, Terry wants LaWanda to hold money for him. You want me to hold money for you, but you got your trick, Markeisha, in a house. You bought her a house, but you want me to hold money for you. And I don't know if LaWanda still, if she live on her own now, about her mama. You don't think about me now. All of a sudden you want to think about me now that I'm So I hope she don't do it, like, for me, just on GP. I hope she doesn't do it, but y'all know everybody want to be the ride or die. Y'all gonna learn. Charles, y'all. So Charles Raw Dog, y'all, he going on a date with with Cecilia. Okay, I'm not mad at it. He said, I'm gonna pick you up at 7:30 tonight. All right. So Nicole works at the diner. Worm is something about him that I don't trust, because I thought he got fired. Like, so how is it that you have to pick Nicole up and you got fired? Like, it just all don't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me. But Worm is starting to flirt with Nicole. So she was like, I'm grown. I don't need nobody coming to pick. Like, everything out of Nicole's mouth is she's 18 or she's grown. You don't know. Like, I get it. but you don't have enough life experience. When I tell y'all, she pissed me, like she just getting beside herself. Like, you gotta look and you want to get beside yourself. Like, I get why Lulu was about to put them hands on her last week, but at the same time, Lulu, you do get beside yourself since you a preacher. You very judgmental. Anyway, I just, child, she gonna learn the hard way. So Meech wants Terry to get along with Jay Pusha, and it's almost like it's whatever Meech is like, whatever I say go. What you saying, him is what I say go. It almost feel like when it comes to Terry has no say so what happens with between him and Meech in this whole, they business they got going on. So Markeisha goes to the jail to see Boom. She tells him about the old connect and how she almost got caught up in a setup. And so she was like, well, do you have any new connects? He was like, well, lay low, I'll figure something out. And, she was telling him about the boys and yada, yada, yada. And he just, it's something about the look. Because y'all know he always pouncing on Markeisha. He knocking her between the washer and the dryer. He looked like he wanted to knock her between the washer and dryer again, but he couldn't because he in jail. Anyway, so Hook and B Mickey is actually looking after Markeisha to see what's going on. So they found her coming out of the jail. And it was like, oh, so she went to go see Boom. So of course they gotta report this to Terry. So in the next scene, Trail has a radio guy, must be a radio personality, have him at his house. He put his face in some water trying to drown him and threatens him to play Purdy's song every hour on the hour. And I was like, sound like Diddy, but whatever. We're gonna keep it pushing. He tells Purdy she's gonna be in a girl group now. Cause he was like, well, I got something new for you. She was like, you gonna let me rap? He said, hell no. And said, now you gonna be in a R&B group with two women who half naked by the pool, touching on whatever by the pool table. And so she was like, well, I thought that I was gonna be solo. Well, he got mad, roughed her up, and then she asked for a little sniffer to go on a ski slope. So he was like, okay, so she had to kind of get him off of her. So Pusha's brother can't play ball anymore, but he's doing small jobs for Pusha, and I know that he don't like that because all he wanted to do was play ball, right? So in the next scene, Raw Dog is having a good night with Cecilia, and so she starts to talk about her ex and how he's a stalker and he's crazy and he be doing the most. So she told Raw Dog that it was over, but her ex still stalking her. Well, he tried to rough Charles up. Ruff was like, brother, I'm just here on the date with this lovely lady, okay? I ain't got no beef with you. So he tried to rough Raw Dog up, and at this point, Charles had to show them why they called me Raw Dog, okay? I think the man was unalive after Raw Dog got done with him. Raw Dog has spoken. I'm sorry, y'all. So in the next scene, Worm is in a car with Nicole. He told her, he's in school as well. And it was just this scene that they had. And she was like, oh, I didn't know you was in school. And he was like, so what you think? It was just like a switch. Like a switch. He said he was playing, but I don't know. I don't know what Worm is gonna do to Nicole, but I just think Nicole should stay far away from him. But of course, she grown, she don't listen. So we see Pusha and Meech. They both are talking about their brothers and how their brothers, like Terry's eye and what's his name, Carter's hand, they were the demise of this happening to both of them. And so Meech was like, Pusha feels responsible for his brother, and you should. And Meech feels like he shouldn't be responsible for that. And I think that's the one thing I don't like about Meech. Like, he is very self-serving. Like, Meech is all about Meech and how he can get it. And even through all of this, you still downplay. He doesn't downplay anybody else but his brother. And I don't like that. Anyway, Carter was about to get into it with a couple of Pusha's ops. So Terry took him out of the casino and took him home. So at this point, Carter expresses how much he hates his brother. And you could tell that when we first seen him back, he said he was working for his brother. You could tell that he hates it. He hates him, and he's still angry at him for putting him in that position. So, but he didn't know. But still, I'm really here because I'm not where I'm supposed to be because of you. So, he also lets Terry know how Pusha have beef with the Moors. And so the Moors are basically a Muslim crew who don't mess around. He said they probably hate Pusha more than he does. I was like, oh, wow. They both talk about their injuries due to their brother's negligence. Like, when Terry got shot in the eye, he was like, I wish I would have never got in that car. What would have happened had I not got in that car? So they both talk about that. They have that in common. Anyway, in the next scene, LaWanda is actually doing Nicole's hair. She was like looking at her hair and she was like, yeah, I want to try something different. So y'all can clearly see how Nicole is really feeling herself. And baby, you might want to slow down, little mama. Anyway, she also tells LaWanda that she likes Worm, and she said, LaWanda was like, girl, you crazy? Like, that you trying to get somebody pow-powed? And so Nicole said, I'm not married. I can do whatever I want. It's not that you can't do whatever you want, but you need to choose wisely in what you do and the company you keep. Nicole, again, I said she gonna learn the hard way. It is what it is. So Pastor Lucille sends B. Mickey money from the benevolent fund, building fund, or whatever. And, she writes him a note, hey, just stay on track, yada, yada, yada. And also when okay, I don't think I got there yet. Anyway, Markeisha is with that cop. Y'all know the one that played on Sisters, Anthony. Anthony is his real name. I forgot his name on this show. But she had him looking into Isaac. Isaac set up that sting when she was going to meet him with Terry. So she had the cop looking into Isaac, whatever, get some answers. So Meech go ahead and gets Purdy what she needs, set up her studio, got a glam team, everything, so he can go ahead, so she can sign with the Stomping Ground Records, and he can take her to the Source Awards. Y'all know that was the awards when somebody got shot. Was it Biggie? Or I think it was Biggie, one of them. They got shot. It was a whole, y'all remember that whole East Coast, West Coast, so that was a whole thing. Okay, it was a whole thing, I guess. Anyway, Pastor actually pawned her ring. She got $1,000 back for that ring. Raw Dog tells Lucille he'll be back on tour in 2 months. And she was acting weird because she had the pawn paper in her hand, and he came up not too close behind her, but he walked in the kitchen and told her that, he was going to go back on tour in 2 months. She was like, okay. And he was like, well, I thought you would be happy for me. Just seeing how hard Lucille has been on Charles, like, you would think that she'll be extremely happy for him. But Lucille is doing her own self-serving purpose, moving in her own self-serving purpose as well. I'm not saying she's wrong. I'm saying that Lucille is moving for Lucille. And it's almost like I don't understand where all this anger for Charles is at. Like, are you still mad at him because he cheated? Like, I don't know. I don't I don't know. She just have this anger, this just frustration for him. Anyway, over at the diner, um, her and Worm were at the diner. I think she was closing up. So he in there smoking weed, and I'm sorry, y'all. And so she was like, "Well, I want to smoke," and he was like, "No." And so she was like, "Well, I know how to blow." And I was like, Nicole. Anyway, Nicole is a very gullible. Like, I get that these are your brothers, but what have you actually learned from them and your dad? So, he kissed her, and baby, when I tell y'all, she took them clothes off in 2.3 seconds. Okay, that coochie was hotter than Mexican music. Okay, I say, girl. All I know is in the next scene, I seen a little stick in her hand. Okay. Anyway, Duffy notices Detective Vaughn. He goes to the strip club. He notices Detective Vaughn there. So we get to the Source Awards. The next day, Purdy and Meech is getting ready. Purdy, while Meech is trying to spit his best game to Miss Maria over here, Purdy is over here sniffing the ski slopes again. All right. So B Mickey tells as Hook, like, "Hey, am I back in the game or no?" And so Hook tell him that's between him and Terry, but Hook gives him a wad of cash for doing the work. Like, it was a lot, and it was enough to cover the baby surgery. And so we get to the Source Awards, and you see Bone Thugs and Harmony. You see Biggie, Tupac, Faith Evans, The Brat, lookalikes. Okay, I think Aaliyah. I want to say, who else? I forgot who else. Who else, y'all? If y'all remember who else we saw, y'all drop it down in the comments. But I was like, okay. And so Pusha, I'm sorry, not Pusha, but Trail sees Purdy with Terry and Meech. And, them two have words. And he was like, "Man, screw you, yada, yada, yada." He was like, "This my artist." He was like, "This my artist, not." And so Trail was like, "Well, I seen you all the paperwork and yada, yada, yada. And we be done from there." But I'm pretty sure this paperwork, this contract that he's seen gonna be very scammy like. Anyway, Purdy warns Meech how crazy how crazy Trail is. And so y'all know Meech. I don't give a damn. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, Pusha is now, we see in the next scene that Pusha meets with Loco. Was it Loco in his person? And was like, "Let's just eliminate Terry and Meech, and me and you can do business." I was like, y'all, that doggone Jay Pusha is a snake. If I ain't never seen it. Him, Trail, like, let's just get rid of all of them. Okay, let's just give them their walking papers. I'm hoping that they get their walking papers by the end of this season. All right, y'all. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.